If you want to learn how you can make this moist and delicious cake, then just keep watching.
Hi there, welcome back. Today we have a dessert. Doesn't everybody love dessert? This is a really good dessert. It's kind of a breakfasty dessert. Not really, but it is made with oatmeal. This dessert is an oatmeal cake. It is so good, moist beyond belief, so delicious, and you literally cannot stop at one piece. It is that good. I've never been a cake person, but this is a cake you could not refuse. It's good. So this cake is made pretty much just from pantry staples. You should have all of these things on hand. So let's just get started. This here is a mixture of oats, butter, and boiling water. There is 1 cup of oatmeal, just the dry oats, and I use old-fashioned. I think it's much better with old-fashioned than it is with the quick oats. And it's a 1/2 cup of butter, and it's just, that's 1 stick. 1/2 cup is 1 stick of butter. And I have it at room temperature. I just put the oats in there, the butter in there, and then 1 1/2 cups of boiling water, and I stir it well. The butter will melt in the boiling water. And you want to just let this mix sit for 30 minutes, just so that it thickens up. You can see it's soft, and it's a little thicker than it would be. So now that that's set, let's start our cake. First thing I want is 2 eggs. These are farm fresh eggs from my sister's chickens. And we want to add to that some vanilla. I want just a teaspoon of vanilla. This is some homemade vanilla from a friend. So, a nice little gift. I love things like that. That was very thoughtful. She's a thoughtful person. Okay, so we have your eggs and we have the vanilla. We're going to add a cup of sugar. That's just regular granulated sugar. And again, I keep this measuring cup right in my sugar dish, so it's a 1/2 cup measure. That's why I'm adding 2. And then we want 1 cup of brown sugar. I never said this was going to be sugar-free or easy on the waist, but I'm going to call it healthy because it has oatmeal in it. So there's 1/2 and another 1/2. This is a good cake. We're going to mix this all together. Now to this we want to add our flour mix. Get this all mixed up good. You can use a mixer. I don't use a mixer very often. I like to do it the old-fashioned way with a wooden spoon, a bowl, and arm strength. Get some chunks of brown sugar in there. I don't know, there's something about cooking from scratch the way my grandmother used to do it. The old wooden spoon and the old bowl. Okay, so the flour, we want 1 1/2 cups of flour. And to that we are adding 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So 1 teaspoon of soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And mix that really well. And this is when we're going to add our oat mix. Look how thick and delicious. This is nice and soft. And like I said, these are just regular pantry staples. It's just stuff you have hanging out in your pantry. Everybody usually has oatmeal and flour and sugar and, you know, your regular stuff. There's nothing fancy about this recipe. It dates back many, many years. My grandmother made this. So You know it's good if it's been around for that long. You want to just mix this up really well. You don't want any clumps. And then we're going to pour it into a 9x13 greased cake pan. Quick and simple, isn't it? Let's get it in the oven.
The cake is in the oven. You want to set your temperature at 350 degrees, and I leave it in there anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. It just depends on your oven. Some ovens are a little bit hotter than others. Mine cooks a little bit hotter, so I just set it for 30, the lowest point, and then I just check it and cook it a little longer as needed. This is, like I said, 9x13. I have used a little bit of a bigger pan before. When one was in use, I didn't have it to use, so I used a bigger pan. It just makes a thinner cake and less cook time, but it works out perfectly. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna clean up and then we'll frost the cake. That's always the best part, isn't it? The cake is out of the oven. It's completely done, so now we need to frost it. And the frosting is a Hershey bar. That's it. Easiest frosting you've ever had to make. So let's get it on the cake. To frost this, all I'm going to do is put pieces on here. Cake is still really hot because I literally just pulled it out of the oven. So I just want to put these all over. They're going to melt. Once they start to melt, we can spread them around. See how it's all starting to melt? It's just creating a frosting now. And if you didn't want to use the Hershey bar or you didn't have one, you don't have to. You can use a regular chocolate frosting, whatever kind of frosting you want. I'm sure peanut butter frosting would go really well with an oatmeal cake. This is the only one that I've ever used for this cake, so for me, I've not tried anything else. Look how delicious this is. See how easy this just kind of melts right down and forms a little frosting. Simple as that. Easiest frosting you've ever made, seriously. Doesn't take any time. It's a one ingredient thing. And if you didn't have access to a great big Hershey bar, it's okay. Get a few little ones or a bunch of little teeny miniatures. There you go. Look how good that looks. This is a really easy cake. And like I said, you're using just pantry staples. Very few ingredients. It's basic ingredients really, and it doesn't take any time to put together, and the cook time is the longest part of it. So try making this and let me know what you think. It's really the most moist, delicious cake, and like I said, I am not a cake person, but this had me sold from the very beginning, and you can't stop at just one piece. It is so good. So I've got the tea water on behind me, and I'm going to slice a piece of this up and just enjoy it. If you make it yourself, you can enjoy it too. Thank you for joining me here at